Hi, I'm Mackenzie, and this is La Collector, the art scene delivered. Every week, I'll take you behind the scenes of the art world. What's cool, what's hype, and what's next. Today, we're tackling one of the most debated questions in art. What makes something good? Not just cool, not just expensive, but genuinely worth your time and attention. The kind of work that museums show, curators fight over, and critics can't stop writing about. But here's the truth. When professionals say something is good, they shape everything. What hangs in galleries, what gets bought, what even ends up in history books. And when you understand how those judgments work, you can walk into a gallery or a museum with confidence, spark a conversation, and maybe even impress your date. We all use the word good casually. That was a good show. This is a good painting. But in the art world, that can launch a career or bury one. And if you're new to the scene, it's the word that might make you feel like you're missing something. You're told a piece is good or even great, but you're left there standing like, why? I don't understand. Well, flash back to my freshman year. I was hungry to see everything. I'd rush through museums checking artworks off like they were a shopping list, quantity over quality. But standing in front of certain pieces, I'd feel literally nothing. And I'd think, why is this solid blue canvas famous? I could do that. Or, this doesn't even look hard. How did it end up in a museum? Then I had my first epiphany, the little plaque on the wall. I read about the symbolism, the materials, the backstory, and suddenly the work cracked open for me. The context changed everything. Now, do I think you need to read every single plaque? No. Who has time for that? And sometimes they're just fluff and really don't give you more information about the work. So the real question becomes, how do you move from feeling overwhelmed or even skeptical to actually appreciating good art? So here's what I realized. When moving from confusion to appreciation, it doesn't mean finding the answer. It means opening yourself up to multiple answers. Because in art, good is never just one thing. There's no single definition. And that is why I love art. It's not like math or science where you're searching for a single truth. It shifts, it changes, and sometimes it's abstract. If you ask a curator, they'll tell you good is about influence and innovation. If you ask your mom, she might say good is something that looks nice over the dinner table. And if you ask your friend who's into NFTs, they're going to say good means something that will resell really fast. But here's why we're here today. I want to give you the insider cheat sheet of how art world pros actually define good, and then show you how to layer in your own taste on top of that. Because good art isn't just what the institutions say, it's also about what resonates with you. All right, the big 5 lenses insiders use are 1, originality and innovation, 2, technical execution, 3, conceptual depth, 4, context and influence, and 5, cultural resonance. We're going to dive into each one of these a bit more so that we can really understand what these mean and how they influence a decision. All right, let's get into the first one, originality and innovation. Good art feels fresh. It shifts the conversation. Now think of Dunkamp's Urinal in 1917. This is one of my favorite pieces, by the way. At the time, it was shocking, disruptive. Today, it's taught in every single art history class. Originality isn't about being shocking for shock's sake. It's changing the way that we see things. Now, here's another example for you outside the art world to kind of land this. Remember when Phoebe Philo at Celine made minimalism feel new again? The same clothes, but this new language. That's originality. All right, next up is technical execution. Is the artist in control of their medium? Take Agnes Martin's grids. On Instagram or in a museum, they might look just like faint pencil lines. But when you see them in person, nice and close, the precision and the restraint are mind-blowing. The grid is a signature element of Martin's artistic style, but there's nothing systematic about the way she uses it. She shifts its scale and proportions from work to work, and her use of the form has evolved over time. One of her quotes states, "When I cover the square's surfaces with rectangles, it lightens the weight of the square. It destroys its power." And that control, the decision to hold back, is technical mastery. Now, next time you're at a show, lean in close. Ask yourself, does this feel intentional or accidental? That's your shortcut to evaluating execution. Right, next is conceptual depth. Is there an idea behind the work? Ai Weiwei's installations aren't just visually striking. They're political, they're layered, human. Ai Weiwei is this Chinese contemporary artist, documentarian, and activist. And as an activist, he's been openly critical of the Chinese government's stance on democracy and human rights. And that's why museums fight to show them his pieces, because the ideas hold just as much weight as the visuals. Now, this is where some people roll their eyes and say, I don't get it. But good conceptual work doesn't mean that you need a PhD. It just means that once you know the idea, the piece feels even richer. Next up is context and influence. Does the work build on, push against, or confirm art history? Kehinde Wiley is a perfect example. Kehinde Wiley is one of my favorite painters. He's an American portrait painter based in New York City. He's known for his naturalistic paintings of Black subjects that reference the work of old master paintings. His portraits aren't just beautiful. They're rewriting a history of painting that excluded Black figures. The context deepens the work. He did President Barack Obama's 2018 presidential portrait, which currently hangs in the Natural Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C. If you're around, I would definitely recommend going to see it. President Obama said at the portrait unveiling, "What I was always struck by whenever I saw Wiley's portraits was the degree to which they challenged our conventional views of power and privilege, and the way that he would take extraordinary care and precision and vision in recognizing the beauty and grace and the dignity of people who are so often invisible in our lives, and put them on a grand stage, on a grand scale, and force us to look and see them in ways that so often they were not." Last but not least is cultural resonance. Is the work in dialogue with its moment? Ringgold was a pioneering artist and activist who works at the intersection of art, feminism, and the civil rights movement. Street story quilt is one of Ringgold's most powerful story quilts, a genre the artist pioneered in the early 1980s. Now, Faith Ringgold's quotes have been around since the 70s, but right now they feel sharper than ever. Why? Because they weave together activism, history, and art in ways that speak directly to the cultural moment. So, the pro checklist looks like this. Is it new? Is it intentional? Is it deep? Is it in conversation with history? And does it resonate now? That is how the art world defines good. But here's the thing. Good art isn't only what's blessed by museums. It's also what hits you. Think about the last time a piece stopped you in your tracks, and maybe you couldn't explain why. Maybe it wasn't in a big museum. It could have been at a teeny tiny gallery, or even on your morning walk to get a matcha. That reaction right there, that is your definition of good. Want to know your own personal taste? Open your saves folder. What's in there? Do you notice patterns, colors, moods, materials? That is your taste map. That's what good means to you. And when you walk into a gallery, here's an insider trick. Trust that instinct first. Then layer in all that pro criteria. Does it resonate emotionally? And check one or two of those professional boxes. Congratulations, you're on your way to knowing, feeling, and experiencing more art. And that's the secret. Professionals don't necessarily know more about the piece. They just practice putting words to their reactions. And now you can do it too. All right, now I want to kick off a recurring segment. This is going to be Art in NYC. So if you're here in New York, this is your little cheat sheet. If you're not, consider it vicarious inspo. One of the top places I would recommend going to see now is the Frick Collection. It just opened again this summer. It's a Gilded Age mansion in the Upper East Side. It's intimate, quiet, and let me tell you, jaw-dropping. Think Vermeer, Rembrandt, Goya, Bellini, all hanging in the rooms that they were originally meant for. It's like stepping into someone's private home, if that someone was a 1900s industrialist with impeccable taste. Highly, highly recommend. And if you're going, I would recommend getting tickets in advance because the lines can be long, especially on the weekends. Now, this one is totally different, other side of the spectrum here, but it's the Anon pop-up in Lower East Side. This is the flip side of anything from the Frick. It has raw energy. The anonymous gallery is known for surprise pop-ups that feel alive. It has pulsing walls, urgent photography, installations that grab you and just pull you in. It's unpretentious, it's street smart, and totally socially conscious. It's the kind of show that reminds you that art isn't just history, it's happening right now. All right, and that's today's dive into what makes art good. Next time you're in a gallery, try it out. Trust your gut reaction and then test it against those professional lenses. Is it original, executed with intention, conceptually deep, in dialogue with history, and resonating now? You don't need to memorize all 5. You just need to start seeing things differently. And when you do, you'll feel more confident, curious, and yes, a little more insidery. Because at the end of the day, you're already a collector. You just don't know it yet. Now, if you liked this episode, please share it with a friend, leave a review, and definitely DM me the last piece of art that felt good to you. I'd love to see it. Until next time, ciao.